It took some kind of consciousness raising on my part before I was willing to look at the possibilities. And really, you need to go where the evidence leads.
As an engineer, and I have 3 degrees in engineering, I signed that petition for architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth some time ago because the American people absolutely need the truth of 9/11.
Look at the evidence. In fact, I'll say this very categorically. Any reasonable person who looks at the evidence that's been brought forward has got to come away with the feeling that something has to be done, a real investigation has to be put forward.
We will never heal. This country will never, ever, ever forget that day. We have to demand a new investigation. I want justice here.
The country owns this. We were all victims. You all should want answers. It's not just ours, not just mine. We all lost something that day.
It's distressing for everyone to come to terms with this evidence, but we must pursue the truth wherever it leads. Look at the evidence and decide for yourself.
Maybe now, as a viewer of The Real Story, you can understand the importance of the grand lie. I always ask people, who benefits? Who benefited? Did Guys and Caves benefit from September 11th? Or did the oil companies that wanted to put a pipeline through Afghanistan benefit? And if it was Guys and Caves from Afghanistan, how did Bush, or why did Bush, sign the order to attack Afghanistan on September 10th of 2001? Why the day before? How did he know to sign the order to attack the country? And that's unconstitutional by itself, because Congress is the only one who can declare war. But how was it that the order to attack Afghanistan was signed September 10th? I guess I should read the book about the goat. That was all in the goat book. The other one was, there's so many. But now, once again, if what you were told was a lie, if September 11th, their story, their version is untrue, isn't it important that you learn the truth? Or do we have to kill 1 million more Iraqis? I asked the Sharon residents that. Do we need to kill 1 million more Iraqis or Afghanistanis? We've already killed more than 1 million. Do we need to kill 1 million more before you, Sharon residents, will say, we have to stop? That's a Holocaust. My Holocaust meter's at Holocaust. 1 million. At what point, Sharon residents, will you stop believing, once again, the news or the media covers up the truth? It doesn't uncover it. Maybe that's because the same bankers own all your media. But now that you've learned some truth, you have to look in the mirror and decide, what kind of person are you if you do nothing with the truth? If you don't stand up for your children, and by the way, Iraqi children are just as valuable as American children. If you don't stand up for children over there, what makes you think that they're going to stand up for children over here? If they don't value children over there, what makes you think they value children over here? So I want you to go to the mirror after the show, and I want you to look well and clearly into the eyes of the person in that mirror and decide what you'll do with the truth. But to move along, I love this one. This is, going to leave you with some comedy. Still You Believe.
With a huge announcement in the war on terror, Osama bin Laden has been killed. He's
that bin Laden is dead.
Inside that massive compound where bin Laden was hiding out.
Obama's dead. I don't care. What did I say?
This just in, you were looking at obviously a very...
You heard it on the evening news, the voice of authority. And though it was all a lie, still you believed. They told you about yellow cake as a pretext to war. They embedded reporters cheap like $5 whores. They gave you a boogeyman to scare you at night. and terror threat level alerts till you were ready to fight. But it's all a lie, made up nonsense for you to buy. Still you believe. Still you believe. They told you Earth's heating up, that we're all gonna stew. But the only thing cooking here is the data that they use. They told you about Saddam Hussein and his WMDs. They were sure that he had them too, 'cause they still had the receipts. But it's all a lie, made up nonsense for you to buy. Still you believe. Still you believe all of their crap, never suspecting that it's a trap. You're being had, you're being used, it's all just a game, and you're gonna lose. You'd better wake up before it's too late, before the jig's up and you've sealed your fate. And now for the coup de grace to fool you and me. They said they just killed the boogeyman and buried him at sea. Lies, nonsense, lies, fairy tales, propaganda crap, mind-numbing, soul-crushing, psychological trap. It's the way that they've always worked, and baby, it's fate. They'll keep doing it until you stop taking the bait. It's all lies.
I'm not leaving you. We're still here. Hope you enjoyed that Still You Believe thing. I think it's pretty funny because, you know, sometimes the truth can be funny. It can be sad and it can also be funny. It can be scary and it can be funny. But this awakening that we get with the people when they start learning the truth, at least learn to ask questions. Especially when it's people who tell you that they don't value a child anywhere. When they're willing to bomb them. Most of the casualties are children. We didn't defeat any army over there. We're blowing up. They're taking Predator drones and blowing up weddings. I'd call that a terrorist act. But I'm sure you think of it as a surgical strike. Have you seen how they use the words? They're Orwellian nowadays with us. All right, so here we go. Here's a little picture. I want you to see this because we're going to turn it around on them. How about the V? When you see something, you do something. So when you see that they're lying, when you see they're creating a police state, when you see they're starting wars based on lies and killing millions of people, you'll do something. Yeah, we got a new age of heroes coming in America. It's not basketball players. It's not football players. It's not Red Sox baseball players or that little green monster. No, we got a new age of heroes coming with the truth. These are people that are going to fight for freedom and liberty, not just here, but maybe even worldwide. Because if you watch and you study history, it is this global, it's these globalists. They're trying to, everywhere you go, they're trying to put fluoride in the Australians' water. Gee, you wonder why. It was the Nazis who put fluoride in the water. Here in Sharon, home of Holocaust survivors, they put fluoride in our water. And when I try to wake them up, do you think anybody does the homework? Maybe they want to type in Nazis and fluoride and find out for themselves. But with that, let's go. This is your president who now tells you you've got to worry about a lone nut. He was just on Wolf Blitzer, right? Barry Soetoro. Barack Hussein, Barry Soetoro. He was just on lone wolf hunting, right? On Wolf Blitzer saying we got to worry about lone wolves. Here you go.
The biggest concern we have right now is not the launching of a major terrorist operation, although that risk is always there. The risk that we're especially concerned of right now is the lone wolf terrorist, somebody with a single weapon being able to carry out wide-scale massacres of the sort that we saw in Norway recently. When you've got one person who is deranged or driven by a hateful ideology, they can do a lot of damage, and it's a lot harder to trace those lone wolf operators. So we're spending a lot of time monitoring and gathering information.
Because you thought I was kidding. Do you see how they've turned the terrorism thing from like people in turbans with brown skin to now Americans? So now the Department of Homeland Security is putting out videos where it's blonde-haired and blue-eyed Al-Qaeda. And it's what you consider minorities, okay, who are calling in saying, I saw something suspicious. We now have to watch everybody. We have TSA squeezing the genitals of your daughter at the airport. And still you believe. I don't think you do. I think you're waking up. I give you Sharon residents a lot more credit. I may sound like I don't have faith in you, but I do. I have faith that you'll wake up. It may be when you're hungry, but you will wake up. So here we go. Here's a little bit of, once again, that was, CNN with Obama and the lone wolf thing. Boy, after you've heard about, homework. Here's tonight's homework. Project Gunrunner, Fast and Furious. That's where the Department of Justice, through the Department of Homeland Security and the ATF and the FBI, have been giving guns to drug gangs, while banks like Wachovia, B of A, not only launder the money, but they actually lease the planes to fly the drugs. And meanwhile, they're building private prisons to put your children in, or your relatives, if they ever happen to use any of these drugs, which are brought in by the cartels via the government. Don't believe me? What happened with Pat Tillman? Did he say, Mum, we're guarding poppy fields? It gets interesting because, as you see the cocaine planes crash, and they're registered or done by a CIA front company, okay? As you see, once again, here's our government. Look up Fast and Furious. Look up Project Gunrunner. It was actually in your stimulus bill. They even write it into your laws. Give money so we can give guns to drug gangs. It only came out because we had some good whistleblowers, and now they're being fired, and the guys who gave the guns to the drug cartels, they're being promoted. Just like 9/11, huh? Nobody got fired. Yeah, they stood down the American defense system, and no one got fired. No one got in trouble. Do you see how they did this? Just like Orwell. With the Big Brother, we've got to hate. Who was it, Goldberg or Goldstein? They found someone to hate, 10 minutes of hate. Recently, hate Libya. You got to hate Pakistan. They're giving us our people to hate, so that when we attack them, we already in our minds say, well, they're bad people. Their children are bad. Their mothers are bad. Their grandmothers are bad. They have bad grandparents. They have bad uncles, bad nieces, bad nephews, bad cousins. We can kill them because they're less than human. Isn't this what Hitler did? False flag events. When he attacked his own Reichstag, burned down the Capitol building. When he attacked the radio station in Gleiwitz and blamed it on the Poles. Are there any Polish viewers in the audience? Maybe they'd like to come on the show, and we'll talk about the Second World War and how it started. Maybe there's some Holocaust survivors out there, and maybe they can come on the show. Do you realize that now when our military kills people, 90% of the people our military kills are civilian? Have you seen how that has changed over the past 50 years? We used to fight armies. We used to fight, if there was somebody bad or whatever, we'd fight their army. We didn't kill their people. But that started changing right at the tail end of World War II, huh? Don't believe me? Why don't you type in Dresden? Did we get the center of that city to 1,600 degrees? Was it a city full of refugees, not military targets? How about dropping nukes? See, war has changed now, and our culture has changed. People wear skulls. Yeah. They like to wear skulls now, huh? And shock and awe is a big thing. That's right, for you American heroes, you sports fans, I bet you're loving it. Look at that bomb. Wow, look at that plane. Boy, we can really kill people. Kill, kill, kill. When we used to be you were innocent until proven guilty, now they can assassinate Americans. They passed laws. They can assassinate Americans because we think you're a terrorist. We think you might have met a terrorist. Maybe you brushed up against one. Maybe you sat in the seat of a terrorist. When will you Sharon viewers, consider defending this republic, defending liberty, defending freedom, so that your grandchildren, your children's children can live free? Or are you going to believe the lies? Because I would say if that's the case, still you believe, maybe the fluoride's good for you. Maybe the Prozac and the Zoloft and the Abilify, maybe that's all good for you. Maybe the Ritalin you give your children, maybe that's good for you and them both. But for you ones that want to wake up and want to stand up, We're at a tipping point in history, a point where we allow tyranny to take over or we fight for liberty, where we value the truth more so than lies.